Welcome. Take a breath. A slow, quiet breath, in through your nose and out through your mouth. There is nowhere you need to be right now. Nothing you need to do. No problem that requires your attention in this moment. The world outside can wait. Whatever carried you through this day, the weight of it, the noise of it, you can set it down now, gently, like placing something fragile on a soft surface. You are safe here. This is your space, your stillness, your quiet corner of the universe. Let your body soften into wherever you are resting right now. Feel the surface beneath you holding you completely. You do not need to hold yourself up. You are fully supported, fully at rest. Take another breath with me now in, slowly, filling your lungs completely and out, releasing everything, every thought, every tension, every small worry that followed you here tonight. You may notice your mind is still moving, still turning things over. That is perfectly natural. You do not need to stop your thoughts. Simply allow them to drift past you like clouds crossing a dark sky. Watch them pass and return gently to the sound of this voice. Tonight, we are going on a journey together, not a rushed journey, not a journey with destinations to reach or schedules to keep. This is the slowest kind of journey there is, the kind where the traveling itself is the point, where every moment along the way is an invitation to rest a little deeper, breathe a little slower, and let your mind float a little further from the noise of ordinary life. We are going to travel, tonight, to the edge of what humanity has ever dared to dream. We are going to follow 4 human beings, 4 quiet, extraordinary souls, as they climb aboard a spacecraft and travel farther from Earth than any humans have traveled in over 50 years. We are going to drift alongside them, through the silence of deep space, past the glow of our moon, and into the vast, ancient stillness that exists beyond everything familiar. This is the story of Artemis II, but told slowly, gently, the way a story should be told at the end of a long day. So settle in. Let your eyes grow heavy. Let your breathing find its own natural rhythm, and let us begin. There is a place on the eastern coast of Florida where the land flattens out into something almost dreamlike, where the earth meets the water in long, quiet stretches of marsh and river, where birds move slowly through still air, where the horizon is so wide and so unbroken that standing there, you feel less like a person in a particular place, and more like a small, breathing thing beneath an enormous sky. This place is called Merritt Island, and for decades now, human beings have come to this quiet stretch of Florida coastline to do something that still feels, even after all this time, almost impossible to believe. They come here to leave the Earth. The Kennedy Space Center sits on this island like a cathedral, built for a very particular kind of prayer. Its launch pads rise from the flat land like monuments to human longing. Its roads are wide and empty most of the time, crossing through wetlands where alligators rest in the afternoon sun, where herons stand in the shallows without moving for what feels like hours. There is a stillness to this place that feels appropriate, because what happens here, what has happened here since the earliest days of human spaceflight, requires a particular quality of stillness inside the people who do it, a stillness that is not the absence of feeling, but the deepest possible presence of it. The Space Launch System rocket that will carry the Artemis II crew into space is called simply the most powerful rocket ever built. And when you stand near it, when you are close enough to feel its scale in your body rather than just understand it in your mind, something quiet happens inside you. You become aware, in a very direct and physical way, of how small you are, not in a frightening way, in the way that standing at the edge of the ocean makes you feel small, or lying on your back in an open field at night, watching the stars appear one by one, makes you feel small. A smallness that is somehow comforting, that reminds you that you are part of something much larger than your daily concerns, that the universe was here long before your worries, and will continue long after them. Breathe that in for a moment. Let yourself be small. Let the enormity of what we are about to explore settle around you like a warm, heavy blanket. To understand why Artemis II matters, it helps to travel back in time. Not very far, in the great scale of things. Just a little over half a century, to a period in human history that still feels, when you read about it or hear people who lived through it describe it, like something that happened in a dream. The 1960s were a strange and turbulent decade for the human family. There was great unrest in the world, great uncertainty, and yet, somehow, in the middle of all of that noise and difficulty, a small group of human beings decided to try something that had never been done before in the entire history of our species. They decided to go to the moon, not metaphorically, not in a poem or a painting, literally, in a metal capsule, on top of a column of controlled fire, through the vacuum of space, across 239,000 miles of absolute nothing. They decided to go there, and then, and this is the part that still feels dreamlike, they actually did it. On the 20th of July 1969, a human being stood on the surface of another world for the first time. Neil Armstrong stepped out of the lunar module Eagle onto the grey, powdery surface of the Sea of Tranquility. And the name of that place, the Sea of Tranquility, has always struck me as one of the most beautiful accidents of history, because there is something deeply tranquil about the moon. It has no weather, no wind, no rain, no seasons. The same rocks that were resting on its surface when Armstrong placed his boot print beside them have been resting there, undisturbed, for billions of years. Time moves differently on the moon, or perhaps more honestly, time barely moves there at all. That boot print Armstrong left behind is still there, perfectly preserved, unchanged, in the Sea of Tranquility, on a world with no wind to smooth it away. That small impression in the dust will remain for millions of years. There is something about that image, a single human footprint preserved in silence for millions of years on the surface of another world, that I find extraordinarily calming. It reminds me that some things endure, that some marks we leave behind are gentler and more lasting than we imagine. Let that thought settle with you for a moment as your breathing continues to slow. The 4 people chosen to fly on Artemis ascent carry something extraordinary with them, not just the weight of their training, or the technical knowledge required to operate one of the most complex machines ever built by human hands. They carry something older and quieter than that. They carry the accumulated longing of every human being who has ever looked up at the moon and felt something stir inside them. Their names are Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen. Say those names slowly if you like. They are worth holding for a moment. Reed Wiseman will command the mission. He is a man who has already spent time aboard the International Space Station, floating in the quiet of low Earth orbit, watching our planet turn below him through a window. Victor Glover will serve as pilot. He too has lived in space before, spending months aboard the station, conducting spacewalks, learning the particular kind of patience that living beyond the Earth requires. Christina Koch carries with her a distinction that she wears quietly, but that history will remember loudly. She will be the first woman to travel to deep space, the first woman to journey beyond the protective embrace of Earth's magnetic field, the first woman to see our planet from the distance of the moon. In the long story of human spaceflight, a story that stretches back only about 60 years, which is barely a breath in the life of our species, this is a moment that will be remembered, and Jeremy Hansen, a Canadian astronaut, will become the first person from outside the United States to travel to deep space. 4 people, 4 sets of dreams and memories and quiet fears, 4 human hearts, beating in the silence of space, farther from home than almost any human beings have ever been. As your eyes grow heavier now, let yourself imagine what that might feel like. To look out of a small window and see the Earth, the entire Earth hanging in the darkness, growing slowly smaller as you move away from it, blue and white, and impossibly beautiful. The only home your species has ever known, receding gently behind you. What would you think about in that moment? What would you let go of? Take a breath. Feel yourself sinking a little deeper into rest. We have only just begun our journey tonight. There is so much stillness ahead of us, so much quiet wonder waiting just beyond the next soft breath. As your breathing slows even further, let us turn our gaze now toward the spacecraft itself, the vessel that will carry these 4 souls into the ancient dark and bring them safely home again. The spacecraft that will carry Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen beyond the moon is called Orion. It is a name worth sitting with for a moment. Orion, the hunter, one of the most recognizable constellations in the night sky. On clear winter evenings, in places far enough from city lights to see the sky properly, you can find Orion by looking for 3 stars in a gentle diagonal line. His belt, hanging in the darkness with a quiet, reliable permanence. Human beings have been looking at those 3 stars for as long as human beings have been looking at the sky. Ancient Egyptians saw them. The earliest humans who ever tilted their heads back on a cold, clear night and felt that particular mixture of wonder and smallness that the night sky produces, they saw those same 3 stars. And now, in the early years of the 21st century, we have named a spacecraft after that ancient pattern of light. There is something beautiful about that continuity, something that connects the very first human who ever looked up in wonder to the 4 people who will climb inside this capsule and travel farther than almost anyone in history. We are all, in some quiet way, looking at the same sky. Orion, the spacecraft, is not large. This is one of the things that strikes people most when they see photographs of it alongside the enormous rocket that will carry it. The capsule itself, the part where the 4 crew members will live and work and sleep and breathe, is roughly the size of a large family car. 4 people, the size of a car. 239,000 miles from home. And yet inside that small, carefully engineered space, everything the human body needs to survive has been thought about, planned for, tested, retested and refined over decades of accumulated knowledge. The air the crew breathes will be carefully monitored and maintained. The temperature will be regulated so precisely that the astronauts will be comfortable in their shirt sleeves. The water they drink will be recycled and purified. The food they eat has been prepared and packaged with extraordinary care. Every single detail of human survival, miniaturized and made possible in a vessel smaller than many living rooms. Breathe slowly now. Let yourself appreciate, in this quiet moment, the extraordinary care that human beings take of one another when the stakes are high enough. Because that is what the Orion spacecraft represents. At its deepest level, it is an act of care. Thousands of engineers, scientists, technicians and dreamers, working across decades, caring deeply enough about 4 human lives to think through every possible detail of keeping them safe in one of the most hostile environments that exists. There is something profoundly moving about that. If you let yourself feel it now, as your body grows heavier and your breathing grows slower. As your breathing slows even further, let us turn our gaze now toward the night before the launch. Imagine it with me. Kennedy Space Center in the deep, quiet hours before dawn. The air is warm and thick with the particular humidity of coastal Florida. Somewhere in the distance, across the flat marshland, frogs are calling. A bird moves through the darkness. The stars overhead are extraordinary. More stars than most people ever see in their lives. Because out here, away from the glow of cities, the sky reveals itself completely. And there, on the launch pad, illuminated by floodlights that make it glow against the darkness like something from a dream, stands the Space Launch System rocket. It has been standing there for weeks, being checked and rechecked, fueled and defueled in practice runs, tested in every way that human ingenuity can devise. And now the night before the launch has arrived. Somewhere nearby, the 4 crew members are resting, or trying to rest, lying in the darkness with their thoughts, on the last night they will spend on Earth for 10 days. What do you think about? On a night like that, perhaps you think about the people you love, their faces in the quiet of your mind, soft and familiar. Perhaps you think about ordinary things, a meal you enjoy, a place that feels like home, the particular quality of light on a familiar street in the late afternoon. Perhaps you think about nothing at all. Perhaps you have learned through years of training to simply breathe, to be still, to trust. Let yourself practice that now. Simply breathe. Simply be still. Simply trust that where you are, right now, is exactly where you need to be. The night before the launch passes slowly. The stars move across the sky in their ancient, unhurried arc. The rocket stands in its pool of light, patient and enormous. And then, very gradually, the eastern horizon begins to soften, a faint lightening. The deepest blue beginning to give way to something slightly less dark, the first quiet announcement of a new day. Launch day. There is a moment in the final minutes before a rocket launches when time seems to behave differently. The countdown reaches its final seconds and something shifts. In the air, in the bodies of everyone watching, in some quality of the light and sound and feeling of the place. The engines ignite. Not suddenly, the way you might imagine. There is a brief moment, just a breath or two, when the engines are burning but the rocket has not yet moved. The hold-down arms are still gripping it. The entire system is checking itself, thousands of measurements being taken in fractions of a second, making sure everything is as it should be. And then, release. The hold-down arms fall away, and the most powerful rocket ever built begins, slowly at first and then with breathtaking acceleration, to rise. The sound arrives a moment after the sight of it, rolling across the flat Florida landscape like something ancient and enormous waking up. It is not just heard, it is felt, in the chest, in the bones, in some place deeper than either. And then, within minutes, it is gone. The sky is empty again. The smoke drifts slowly sideways in the morning breeze. The birds that scattered at the sound are returning, landing in the marsh grass, folding their wings. And 4 human beings are on their way to the moon. Let that settle for a moment. 4 human beings on their way to the moon. In the stillness that follows a launch, there is often a particular quality of silence, as if the air itself needs a moment to recover from what just passed through it. Let yourself rest in that silence now. Breathe in and breathe out. Feel the quiet settling around you like something soft and warm. In the hours after launch, something remarkable begins to happen. As the Orion spacecraft climbs higher and higher above the Earth's surface, the view from its windows undergoes a transformation that astronauts consistently struggle to describe in words. At first, the Earth fills the window completely. The detail is extraordinary. Coastlines, river deltas, the geometric patterns of cities, the white spirals of weather systems moving slowly across blue ocean. Then, gradually, as the spacecraft climbs higher, the Earth begins to shrink. Not all at once, slowly. The way the lights of a city recede when you drive away from it at night, growing smaller and softer, until eventually they are just a warm glow on the horizon. But in space, there is no horizon. There is no road curving away. There is simply the growing darkness, and within it, the Earth becoming smaller and rounder and more complete. Astronauts who have experienced this describe something that happens inside them as they watch their planet shrink. A shift in perspective so profound that it is difficult to communicate to someone who has not experienced it. The things that felt large and important on the surface, the disagreements, the anxieties, the sense of urgency that modern life produces, begin to feel, from this distance, very small, not unimportant, not meaningless. Simply small. The Earth from space looks fragile, thin-skinned. The atmosphere, that layer of air that makes all life possible, that protects every living thing from the harsh radiation of space, is, from orbit, visibly thin. A faint blue haze clinging to the surface of the planet like the skin of a soap bubble. Everything you have ever known, everyone you have ever loved, every piece of music that has ever moved you, every meal that has ever comforted you, every sunset you have ever stopped to watch, all of it exists within that thin, fragile, heartbreakingly beautiful blue haze. Let yourself feel the tenderness of that for a moment. Let it soften something in you. As your breathing grows slower and deeper, as the weight of your body settles more completely into rest, let the image of that small blue world float gently in your mind. Fragile, beautiful, home. As your breathing slows even further, let us drift now toward the moon itself, that ancient, silent world that has been watching over our night since long before the first human being ever drew breath. The moon has been with us for a very long time, longer than the oceans, longer than the mountains, longer, by an almost incomprehensible margin, than any living thing that has ever existed on the surface of our planet. 4.5 billion years ago, In the earliest, most violent chapter of our solar system's story, something enormous, a body roughly the size of Mars, collided with the young Earth in an impact so catastrophic that it is difficult to hold in the imagination. The collision threw an unimaginable quantity of rock and debris into orbit around our planet, and over millions of years that debris slowly gathered itself together, pulled by gravity into a rough sphere, cooling, solidifying, becoming gradually the world we see hanging in our night sky. The Moon was born from the Earth. They share the same ancient material. The same primordial atoms that were present at the very beginning of our solar system exist in both the ground beneath your feet and in the grey, powdery surface of the Moon. There is something quietly extraordinary about that. When you look up at the Moon on a clear night, when you find it hanging there, full and luminous, casting its soft light across whatever landscape surrounds you, you are looking at something made of the same ancient material as the world you are standing on. You and the Moon share an origin. Let that thought drift through your mind for a moment. Soft and unhurried, we are all made of the same ancient things. The same atoms that formed in the hearts of stars billions of years ago flow through every living body on Earth and rest, quiet and still, in the dust of the lunar surface. You are, in the most literal and scientific sense, made of stardust, and on some deep, wordless level, perhaps that is why the Moon has always felt familiar to us. Why human beings across every culture and every era of history have looked up at it and felt something, written poems about it, built calendars around it, told their children stories about it. We recognize it, somehow, as something that came from the same place we did. Breathe slowly. Let that recognition settle in you like something warm. The surface of the Moon is one of the quietest places that exists. Not quiet in the way that a library is quiet, or a bedroom at night is quiet. Those places have the subtle sounds of life in them, the distant hum of a city, the breathing of a sleeping person, the small sounds of a building settling. The Moon is quiet in a more absolute way. Because the Moon has no atmosphere, sound cannot travel there. Not at all. Not even slightly. If you stood on the lunar surface and clapped your hands together directly beside your ears, you would hear nothing. The vibration of your hands would produce no sound waves, because there is no air to carry them. The silence of the Moon is total, complete, eternal. Astronauts who have walked on the lunar surface have described this silence as one of the most profound experiences of their lives. Not frightening, not lonely, simply absolute. A silence so complete that it becomes its own kind of presence. Let yourself rest in that image for a moment. Imagine standing on the grey, powdery surface of the Moon. The sky above you is black, not the dark blue of a clear night on Earth, but completely, perfectly black. Stars are visible even in the direction of the sun, because there is no atmosphere to scatter sunlight into blue. Beneath your boots, the surface is soft and fine. Lunar regolith, the powdery layer of dust and tiny rock fragments created over billions of years by the constant bombardment of micrometeorites, gives slightly under your weight, the way very fine sand gives on a beach. The landscape around you is ancient and still. Craters of every size, from tiny dimples to vast circular plains, stretch in every direction. Low hills rise and fall in the middle distance. There are no sharp edges here. Everything has been worn smooth by billions of years of micrometeorite impacts, giving the landscape a soft, almost gentle quality. And the silence, the absolute, eternal, total silence. Breathe into that silence now. Let it surround you. Let it hold you. There is nothing you need to hear right now. Nothing you need to respond to. No sound requiring your attention. Just this, just stillness, just rest. As your breathing slows even further, let us turn our attention now to something that has never happened before in the long story of human spaceflight. Something that will happen, quietly and without fanfare, somewhere in the darkness between the Earth and the Moon, as the Orion spacecraft carries its 4 passengers toward their destination. Christina Koch will look out of a window. That sentence does not sound remarkable. People look out of windows all the time. On trains, on airplanes, in the quiet of early morning before the day has properly begun. But the window Christina Koch will look out of is unlike any window a woman has ever looked out of before. Because on the other side of that window will be deep space, true deep space, beyond the protection of Earth's magnetic field, beyond the radiation belts that surround our planet and shield it from the most energetic particles streaming from the sun. In the vast, ancient, unprotected darkness between worlds, no woman has ever been this far from Earth. In the 60 or so years of human spaceflight, a period that includes hundreds of individual missions, dozens of spacewalks, years of accumulated time aboard space stations, no woman has traveled beyond low Earth orbit until now, until Christina Koch floats to a window aboard the Orion spacecraft and looks out at a universe that no woman has ever seen from this vantage point before. Let yourself feel the quiet weight of that moment, not loudly, not with fanfare, simply as a fact worth holding gently. Human beings are always, somewhere, doing something for the first time. Crossing a threshold that has never been crossed, going somewhere that no one has gone, seeing something that no eyes have ever seen from that particular place. And each of those firsts, each of those quiet crossings, widens the world a little, makes the possible a little larger, opens a door that, once opened, can never be closed again. Breathe slowly. Feel the doors that have opened in your own life, the thresholds you have crossed, the moments when something became possible for you that had not been possible before. We are all, in our own quiet ways, explorers. There is a photograph taken by the Apollo 8 crew in December of 1968 that has never lost its power to move people. It is called Earthrise. The crew of Apollo 8, Frank Borman, James Lovell, and William Anders, were the first human beings to travel to the moon. They did not land, they orbited, circling that ancient, silent world, looking down at its grey and cratered surface from a distance of about 60 miles. And then, as their spacecraft came around the limb of the moon on their fourth orbit, William Anders looked out of his window and saw something that made him reach immediately for his camera. The Earth was rising above the lunar horizon, our planet, blue and white and impossibly vivid against the absolute black of space, rising above the grey dead landscape of the moon the way the sun rises above the horizon on a clear morning. Except the Earth does not actually rise above the lunar horizon, of course. It only appears to do so because the spacecraft is moving. From the surface of the moon, the Earth hangs in the sky in a fixed position, neither rising nor setting, because the moon always shows the same face to the Earth. But from the moving spacecraft it rose, and Anders photographed it. And that photograph, that single image of our fragile, luminous, beautiful planet hanging above the dead landscape of another world, changed something in the human understanding of ourselves. For the first time we could see what we actually were. Not a vast, solid, permanent thing. Not the center of the universe, but a small, round blue world, hanging in darkness, alive and fragile and extraordinarily beautiful. The astronauts of Artemis II will see this view. They will see the Earth rising above the lunar horizon as their spacecraft swings around the far side of the moon. They will see it with their own eyes, not in a photograph, not on a screen, but directly through the windows of their spacecraft. And whatever they feel in that moment, whatever shift happens inside them, will be something they carry with them for the rest of their lives. Let yourself imagine it now. The darkness outside the window, the grey curve of the lunar surface below, and then, slowly, rising above it, home, blue, white, glowing softly in the light of the distant sun. Everything you have ever loved, contained in that small circle of light. Let that image rest in your mind as your eyes grow heavier. Let it be the last clear thing you hold onto as sleep begins to gather around you. That small, blue, luminous world, hanging in the darkness, waiting for you to come home. As your breathing slows even further, let us drift now towards something even more ancient. The far side of the moon, a place so remote and so untouched that even light from Earth cannot reach it. There is a place that no human eye has ever seen directly, not from the ground, not from an airplane, not from any spacecraft that has ever carried a human being. It is not far, in the great scale of things, just 239,000 miles away. Close enough, on the cosmic scale, to be practically next door, and yet it remains, to this day, one of the most remote and unreachable places in our experience. The far side of the moon, the side that never faces Earth, the side that has been turned permanently away from us since the moon first formed. 4.5 billion years ago, the side that has never once, in all of that unimaginable time, looked upon our blue and living world. The moon rotates on its axis at exactly the same rate that it orbits the Earth. This is not a coincidence. It is the result of a gravitational process called tidal locking. The Earth's gravity, acting on the moon over billions of years, gradually slowing the moon's rotation until it matched its orbital period exactly. The result is that the moon always shows us the same face, the same craters, the same dark plains, the Maria, the ancient seas that are not seas at all but vast, solidified flows of volcanic rock from billions of years ago. The same mountains and valleys and shadows that human beings have been mapping with their eyes since long before telescopes existed. We know this face intimately. We have named every feature of it. We have written poems about the patterns we see in it. In different cultures across the world, people have looked at this face and seen different things. A rabbit, a woman, a man. But they have all been looking at the same ancient, patient face. And on the other side of that face, permanently turned away, exists a world that none of us has ever seen. Let that thought rest in you for a moment. Something that close. Something that has been there all along, all your life, all of human history, and yet completely, permanently hidden. Breathe slowly. There is something comforting about that, somehow. The reminder that mystery still exists, that there are still things just beyond the reach of ordinary sight, that the world is larger and more layered than we can fully see from where we stand. The far side of the moon is different from the near side in ways that still puzzle scientists. It is more heavily cratered. The crust is thicker. The dark volcanic plains that cover much of the near side are almost entirely absent on the far side. Instead, the landscape is a continuous, unbroken field of craters, ancient and overlapping, stretching in every direction. No one is entirely certain why the two sides are so different. Several theories exist. Perhaps the near side was kept warmer by the young Earth's heat, allowing more volcanic activity. Perhaps a second, smaller moon once existed, and eventually collided with the far side in a slow, gentle impact that thickened the crust. Perhaps the difference is the result of variations in the early solar system that scientists have not yet fully understood. The mystery remains open, and there is something wonderful about that. In an age when information is so abundant, when answers to almost any question are available within seconds, it is quietly wonderful to know that the moon, our closest neighbor, our ancient companion, the world that has lit our nights since the beginning, still holds secrets, still has questions attached to it that no one can yet answer. Let yourself rest in that openness for a moment. The not knowing, the comfortable, peaceful acknowledgement that some things are still mysterious, that the universe is under no obligation to be fully understood, that wonder is not a problem to be solved but an experience to be had. Breathe in that wonder now, and breathe it out, slowly, like something you are releasing into the dark. When the Orion spacecraft swings around the far side of the moon, something will happen that is, in its own quiet way, one of the most profound experiences available to a human being. Communication with Earth will cease, not because anything has gone wrong, not because of any malfunction or emergency, simply because the moon will be between the spacecraft and the Earth, and radio waves, like light, cannot pass through solid rock. For a period of approximately 30 minutes, the 4 crew members of Artemis II will be completely, totally, unreachably alone. No voice from mission control, no data streaming up from Earth, no connection of any kind to the 7 billion people going about their lives on the blue world they left behind. Just 4 human beings, in a spacecraft the size of a large car, on the far side of the moon. The silence of that isolation is difficult to imagine from where we sit. We live in a world of constant connection. Our phones link us to people on the other side of the planet in fractions of a second. The idea of being genuinely unreachable, of being somewhere that no message can reach you and no message can leave, is so foreign to modern experience that it has almost lost its meaning. But in those 30 minutes on the far side of the moon, it will be completely real. The 4 crew members will have prepared for it. They will know it is coming. They will have talked about it, thought about it, made their peace with it, and then it will arrive. The last signal from Earth will fade. The communication screens will go quiet, and outside the windows, the ancient cratered landscape of the far side will stretch away in every direction, lit only by the sun, utterly silent, utterly still. Let yourself imagine what you might feel in that moment. Not fear, perhaps. Something quieter than fear. Something closer to awe. The particular quality of feeling that comes when you are somewhere truly remote, somewhere that human presence has not softened or shaped, somewhere that exists completely on its own terms, indifferent to human concerns, ancient beyond comprehension. Perhaps something like peace. Breathe slowly now. Feel the quietness of that imagined remoteness settling around you. There is nowhere more alone than the far side of the moon. And perhaps, in that aloneness, there is a particular kind of freedom. Space is not empty. This is one of the things that surprises people when they first learn about it. The vast darkness between planets and stars looks empty, feels empty in the imagination. The word we use for it, vacuum, suggests absence, nothingness, a complete lack of anything. But space is filled with things that cannot be seen. Radiation streams through it constantly. Particles ejected from the sun at extraordinary speeds cross the solar system in hours, carrying energy that would be dangerous to unprotected biological tissue. Cosmic rays. High-energy particles from sources far beyond our solar system, some of them traveling at close to the speed of light, pass through the solar system in a constant, invisible rain. On Earth, we are protected from most of this. Our planet's magnetic field, generated by the movement of molten iron deep in the Earth's core, deflects the most energetic particles from the sun, channeling them toward the poles where they create the beautiful light shows we call auroras. The atmosphere absorbs much of the radiation that does get through. We live, without knowing it, inside a vast and invisible shield. But beyond that shield, in the deep space that the Artemis 2 crew will travel through, the radiation environment is more intense, more complex, more demanding on the human body. The engineers who designed the Orion spacecraft thought carefully about this. The capsule is designed to provide meaningful protection against radiation. The positioning of water storage and other dense materials within the spacecraft offers additional shielding. The mission duration has been planned with radiation exposure carefully considered. But some exposure is unavoidable, and the 4 crew members have accepted this as part of what it means to go. There is something quietly courageous about that acceptance. Not a dramatic, chest-beating courage. Not the loud courage of action movies and adventure stories. Something softer and deeper than that. The courage of someone who understands a risk completely, thinks about it carefully, makes peace with it, and then proceeds anyway. Because something calls them forward. Because the view from the other side of that risk is worth the journey. Let yourself feel the quiet courage in that for a moment. The places you have gone in your own life despite uncertainty. The decisions you have made without knowing how they would turn out. The courage it takes, sometimes, simply to move forward into the unknown. Breathe slowly. You are braver than you know. There is a quality to the darkness of deep space that is unlike any darkness on Earth. On Earth, darkness is never truly complete. Even on the darkest night, in the most remote location, there is always some light. Starlight, moonlight, the faint glow of bioluminescent organisms in the ocean, the distant smear of a city on the horizon. Our eyes have evolved in a world where some light is always present, but the darkness of deep space is different. In the shadows, in the parts of the spacecraft not facing the sun, the darkness is absolute, total, a darkness so complete that it has a physical quality to it, a presence, like something you could reach out and touch. Astronauts have described it as the most profound darkness they have ever experienced. And yet, in that absolute darkness, the stars, without the atmosphere to scatter and soften their light, the stars of deep space are extraordinary, sharp and steady, not twinkling the way they do when seen through air, but burning with a clear, unwavering intensity. More stars than you can imagine. The Milky Way not as a faint smear across the sky, but as a river of light so dense and detailed that it seems almost solid. The universe, seen clearly for the first time. No filter, no softening, no atmosphere between you and the ancient light of 100 billion stars. Let yourself rest in that image now, the darkness and the light together, the absolute black of deep space, and within it, scattered in every direction as far as existence reaches, the quiet, steady burning of ancient stars. Each one of those points of light is a sun, many of them larger than our own, many of them older, many of them, perhaps with worlds circling them, perhaps with something on those worlds that also looks up, sometimes, and wonders. We are not alone in the universe, not because we have proof of other life, we do not yet, but because the universe is so vast, so ancient, so filled with the conditions that gave rise to life here, that the loneliness of deep space feels, somehow, like an illusion, a temporary sensation, a trick of distance. In the deep truth of things, we are part of something enormous and alive and endlessly unfolding. Let that thought be the last clear thing your waking mind holds tonight. The stars, burning steadily in the darkness, ancient and patient and quietly present. As your breathing slows even further, let us drift now toward the journey home. That long, gentle arc back toward the blue world waiting in the darkness. Patient and luminous and filled with everything you love, there is a moment in every long journey when the direction changes, when you stop moving away from home and begin, quietly and without fanfare, moving toward it. For the crew of Artemis II, that moment will come somewhere in the darkness beyond the moon. The Orion spacecraft will perform a precisely calculated engine burn, a brief firing of its main engine, lasting perhaps a minute or two, that will reshape its trajectory, curving it gently, bending its path through space from an arc that was carrying it away from Earth to one that will carry it back. From that moment on, home will be getting closer, not quickly. Space does not permit quick journeys, not at the distances involved. The return will take days, days of drifting through the same darkness they crossed on the way out, watching the Earth grow slowly larger in their windows, watching the moon shrink behind them. But the direction will have changed. And there is something deeply comforting about a changed direction, about the moment when the longest, most remote part of a journey is behind you, when the unknown is no longer ahead but behind, when you are moving, however slowly, toward the familiar. Let yourself rest in that feeling for a moment. The particular comfort of heading home. Perhaps you know that feeling from your own life, the moment on a long trip when you turn around. When the car is pointed back toward the place you sleep, the people you love, the particular quality of light in your own home at a particular time of day. Something relaxes in the body, in those moments, something that had been held, gently but persistently. Let's go. Breathe that release now. Feel it move through your body from your shoulders down through your chest and into your hands. You are heading home. As the days of the return journey pass, the Earth in the windows of the Orion spacecraft will undergo its own quiet transformation. At first, it will be small, a blue circle in the darkness, beautiful but distant, the kind of thing you could cover with your thumb if you held your hand up to the window. Then, gradually it will begin to grow, not dramatically, not all at once, but day by day, hour by hour. The circle will expand. Details will emerge. The blue will deepen. The white of clouds will become visible, then distinct. The brown and green of continents will appear, first as suggestions and then as recognizable shapes. Africa, the Americas, the vast blue spread of the Pacific. Home, reassembling itself in the window. The astronauts will have been away for 10 days. In the great scale of things, 10 days is nothing, a breath, a moment. And yet the return of the Earth in the window, growing larger with each passing hour, will feel, by all accounts of those who have experienced it, like something profound, like something being given back. There are things we do not know we have until we are without them. The smell of rain on warm ground, the sound of wind in trees, the weight of a familiar blanket, the particular quality of light on a face you love in the early morning. These things are so ordinary, so consistently present in the texture of daily life on Earth that they become invisible. We stop noticing them. We take them into ourselves without awareness, the way we breathe without noticing that we are breathing, until they are gone, and then their absence is enormous. Let yourself notice something ordinary right now. The surface you are resting on, the temperature of the air around you, the sound, however faint, of the world outside, the quiet miracle of a body that breathes without being asked to, that keeps itself warm, that holds you together without any conscious effort on your part. These ordinary things are extraordinary. They always were. Breathe slowly and let yourself be grateful for them. In the final hours before re-entry, the crew of Artemis II will make their preparations with the particular focused calm of people who have trained for this moment thousands of times. Re-entry is the most physically demanding part of the return journey. When the Orion spacecraft enters Earth's atmosphere at the speeds it will be traveling, roughly 25,000 miles per hour, the velocity required to return from deep space, the air in front of it cannot get out of the way fast enough. It compresses, and compressed air heats up. The temperatures on the heat shield at the base of the capsule will reach approximately 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit, 5,000 degrees, hotter than the surface of the sun. And yet inside the capsule the crew will be safe, protected by a heat shield made of a material called avcoat, a substance specifically engineered to absorb and dissipate that extraordinary heat, to burn away gradually in a process called ablation, carrying the heat away with it rather than allowing it to pass through to the interior. The capsule will be surrounded by a sheath of superheated plasma, ionized air glowing with the energy of the impact, so intense that radio communication will be impossible for several minutes. Another silence, another period of waiting. Mission control on the ground will watch their screens go quiet and simply wait, knowing that everything that could be done has been done, that the capsule has been designed and built and tested with extraordinary care, that the 4 people inside it have been trained to the highest possible standard, and that some things, at some point, simply have to be trusted. Let yourself rest in that trust for a moment, the particular peace that comes when you have done everything you can do, and the rest is no longer in your hands. There is a kind of freedom in that, a laying down of the weight of control. Breathe it in, and then, through the burning and the silence and the waiting, parachutes. First the small ones, the drogue parachutes, deploying at high altitude to begin slowing the capsule's descent, snapping open against the sky like sudden flowers. Then the main parachutes, 3 of them, each one enormous, nearly as wide as a football field when fully inflated, bright red and white against the blue of the sky. The capsule, which moments ago was a fireball plunging through the upper atmosphere at 25,000 miles per hour, is now drifting, slowly, gently, swaying slightly in the air currents of the upper atmosphere. Below it, the ocean, the Pacific Ocean, vast and blue and quietly waiting. The splashdown will not be violent. The combination of the parachutes and small retro-rockets in the base of the capsule will slow the descent enough that the impact with the water, while noticeable, will be survivable, more than survivable, manageable. The kind of jolt that leaves you startled but unhurt. And then, the capsule will be floating, bobbing gently on the surface of the Pacific, the parachutes deflating around it in the water, the recovery ships already moving toward it. Inside, 4 human beings, breathing the same air they have been breathing for 10 days, but knowing now that just beyond the hatch, just a few inches of metal away, is the open sky of Earth, the salt air of the ocean, the warmth of the sun filtered through the familiar blue of an atmosphere they grew up inside. Home. Let yourself feel the weight of that word for a moment. Home, not just a place, a feeling. A quality of air and light and familiarity that the body recognizes before the mind has processed it. The crew of Artemis II will have been to the moon and back. They will have seen the Earth from a distance that almost no human being has ever seen it from. They will have floated in the silence of deep space, crossed through radiation that no woman has crossed through before, looked at the far side of the moon from a distance of 60 miles, and now they will be home, floating on an ocean, under an open sky, on the only world that has ever, in all of human history, supported a single living thing. Breathe slowly. Let that homecoming settle into you. There is something that the astronauts of every mission describe when they return to Earth, something that is difficult to put into words, and yet they keep trying. A changed relationship with ordinary things. The first breath of unprocessed air, the feeling of weight returning to their bodies after days of weightlessness, the smell of the recovery ship, the sound of wind, the sight of a tree, a bird, a face. These ordinary things, seen through eyes that have just returned from the silence of space, are almost unbearably beautiful. Edgar Mitchell, who walked on the moon during Apollo 14, described looking out of his window on the return journey and experiencing what he called a flash of understanding so profound that it changed the rest of his life. A sudden, overwhelming sense that the universe was not a collection of separate objects moving through empty space, but a single, living, interconnected whole. That the stars and the planets and the human beings looking at them were all part of the same thing. That separation was an illusion. He struggled to describe it for the rest of his life, but he never stopped trying, because some experiences, once had, cannot be unfelt. They become part of you. They change the way the world looks. They leave something behind. Not a memory exactly, but a kind of permanent alteration in how you see. You do not need to go to the moon to have an experience like that. These moments of sudden, quiet recognition, of feeling connected to something larger than yourself, of sensing that the ordinary world around you is more extraordinary than you usually allow yourself to notice. These are available to any human being willing to be still enough to receive them. They happen in nature sometimes, in music, in the particular quality of light on a late afternoon, in the face of someone you love, seen in an unguarded moment, in the quiet just before sleep, in the space between one breath and the next. Let yourself be still enough right now to feel something like that, just for a moment. Just the quiet recognition that you are here, that you are alive, that the world around you, ordinary as it seems, is in fact an extraordinary accident of physics and chemistry and time, more improbable than anything human beings have ever built or imagined. You are here. That is enough. That is everything. Breathe slowly. The story of Artemis II is, at its deepest level, a love story. Not a romantic love story. Something older and quieter than that. A love story between a species and its curiosity. Between human beings and the darkness beyond the edge of what is known. Between the small, fragile, extraordinary creatures that evolved on this blue planet and the vast, ancient, silent universe they find themselves inside. We go to space because we cannot help it, because something in us, something that was present in the first human being who tilted their head back and looked at the night sky, and felt that mixture of wonder and longing, will not be satisfied with staying where it is. We go because the moon is there, and we can reach it. We go because the unknown calls to something in us that the known cannot satisfy. We go because we are, at our core, creatures of curiosity and wonder and restless, beautiful longing. And somewhere in that longing, somewhere in the same impulse that sends 4 human beings on a 10-day journey around the moon, is the same impulse that keeps you curious, that makes you want to understand things, that draws you to stories and ideas, and the particular pleasure of learning something new. You are part of this story, not as a passive observer, as a member of the species that does these things, that looks up, that wanders, that goes. Let yourself feel that belonging for a moment, the quiet pride of being part of a species capable of this. Breathe it in. And now, as this journey draws gently to a close, let us return to where we began, to your body resting in the quiet, to the surface beneath you, holding you completely, to the breath moving in and out of your body, slow and steady and effortless. You have traveled a long way tonight. You have drifted alongside 4 extraordinary human beings as they climbed aboard a spacecraft and left the Earth behind. You have passed through the silence of deep space. You have swung around the far side of the moon. You have seen the Earth rise above the lunar horizon, small and blue and heartbreakingly beautiful. And now you are back, here, in the quiet, in the stillness. The same stars that the Artemis II crew will see from their windows are above you right now, on the other side of the ceiling, on the other side of the atmosphere, burning steadily in the darkness the way they have been burning for billions of years. They were there before you fell asleep tonight. They will be there when you wake, patient and ancient and quietly present. Let your body grow heavier now. Let every muscle soften and release. Let your breathing slow to its own natural rhythm, unhurried and deep. There is nothing more you need to do tonight. No problem to solve. No decision to make. No weight to carry. The universe is very large and very old and very patient. And you are a small, extraordinary, luminous thing within it, resting now. Safe. Home. Let sleep come the way the tide comes in. Slowly. Gently. Without asking permission. Let it carry you out, into the dark, into the stillness, into the deep, ancient, quiet peace that has always been waiting for you just on the other side of this moment. Good night.